Happy Monday, happy new week of trading, and happy live stream for our weekly video series. Shout out to the stream sponsors, guys, of CoinCatch and Breakout Prop. CoinCatch is the perpetual exchange of choice. Great pairings, great liquidity. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. Also, Breakout Prop. Definitely the best prop firm within the crypto industry, in my opinion. So shout out to CoinCatch and Breakout Prop. So based off previous live streams for our long and our short, right? This has been where we wanted to short, right? We wanted a retest of that 86,863. We got it, and that was kind of why I was taking some BTC profits this morning. Now, I did not short this, but again, depending on your bias, depending on what you're comfortable trading or how you're comfortable trading, I still think that this is a very valid short that is a potential to be, pretty profitable. We do have some NPOC prints lower. This one is a new one at 83,627. All right, so that's the new NPOC print there, and then we also have one lower in local range at 82,109. So we do have NPOC prints to the downside, right? And so that's kind of what worries me, or what I was trying to tell you guys over in the chat today, to where I would not be longing into days like today, right? We have been potentially wanting to long these levels lower as much as possible, right? We had some NPOC prints down here at 79, these down at 76, and then also down at 74K, right? So those were where I was more interested in longing than I am more interested in longing here, right? Now what? I think that's always like the big thing is now what? Well, everything does kind of stay the same for me. We've kind of talked about this kind of channel trend where we're kind of coming up to that upper limit resistance level on a channel trend. I've talked about this multiple times in the live streams. Current ranges and channel trends are very, very similar, where they have upper limits, they have median MLs and lower limits, and principles stay the exact same, right? So when we're approaching an upper limit of a channel trend, it's the same thing as the upper limit of a current range. It's a resistance level, right? So we're kind of getting into that resistance level. So again, no surprise that we're rejecting here. It's not that it's going to crash all the way back down to 70K, right? It's just a resistance point where people are taking some low-term time frame profits on their trades, scalp trades, things like that. And so if you want to long again, I think everything stays the same, right? The next long is going to be still down at that potential 76,949, 74,265, right? Those are still long areas. Depending on how you want to trade, maybe you just want exposure and you don't want to wait for lower. Well, then absolutely you can look to tack on a position down at this 82,109 NPOC print level. Currently, we're in an active short. If you're taking it, full transparency, I am not taking this short. I am still hedged from higher. No reason for me to put on more exposure when I just took exposure off, right? So that's what we're looking at here. And then the longs stay the same. NPOCs are still going to be the same for the longs, and they're still going to be the same for the shorts, right? So we just bring these up every single time because we go over them. Price action does not get invalidated unless you're trading it and you trade it wrong. Then it could potentially get invalidated, but that doesn't mean that the price action is invalidated, right? It just means that you mistraded it. And that's a whole nother thing that we've gone over many, many times, to where sometimes you have the trade dialed and it works out completely perfect, but you are the one that mistrades it and loses money. So it's a mindset game, guys. But that's really all I'm looking for on BTC for longs and shorts. Bitcoin top indicator, we've talked about this. No Bitcoin top indicator has topped really yet. I'm going to talk about this every single time that we're on a live stream, just because I think it's pretty important. Again, it's not going to be a live all be all type of thing, but I will say that when things start to flash yellow, things start to flash red, I will be very vocal about it, that this could be a potential top. I never really thought that this was a top, and for me, it's just weird. As much as I had this argument for a move to the upside, I just thought that there was just going to be too much momentum there. Again, I was wrong, right? The momentum was there. It was just there for BTC and not the rest of the markets, which actually was probably the worst thing because it made people lose more money, right? So just very, very good, interesting concept to follow when it comes to CVDD, MVRV Z-score. And this is just all a big bundle for this kind of Bitcoin top indicator. And you can find it. It's free. It's called BTI by DeProof. It's a free indicator. Again, it's just like an anchor chart. Nothing to really take trades based off of, but it's a way to kind of keep you to understand that, have we topped? Are we at the lows? Are we bottoming? It's a very, very, very good tool. But again, it's a high-term time frame tool. You can't find much day trades from it. All right, getting over into Ethereum, guys. Not much has changed. I'm not even going to really talk about this that much because ETH is just like crazy, crazy, slow, crazy, boring. I don't even know what else to really say about it, other than I think we just kind of have to wait at this point if you're long. So everything is still the same on Ethereum, guys. Nothing has changed. Sadly, man, this thing is still so crazy. I'm just blown away with what has unfolded and transpired with Ethereum over the past couple years, and the way that Bitcoin is holding during that time. It's just, I never would have thought that this would have been the way to unfold. And again, that's probably why it's happening. But the long and short are still the same, guys. The short's still higher up, not really willing to short this, not really willing to long here. I already have a long again. I want a long lower, that 1200. I was watching some stuff, or I was looking at some charts over the weekend, and I did get slightly bearish on Ethereum. Was potentially thinking about a hedge, but I want to hedge higher up. I don't want to be hedging, at these local lows. I want to make sure that if I get a hedge position, it's worth it, not just throwing one on just because I think it's going to go down. Again, same thing. I want something to short into. I want a discount to short into. Shorting right here doesn't offer me a discount, but if we pump up to like 1900, well, that offers me a short discount because price is higher, right? So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm looking for, and vice versa for the downside. Not really worth longing here, in my opinion. I already have exposure on ETH, still willing to add lower, at least on those trades. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Nothing has fucking changed on ETH, and there's no reason to like overthink it, right? This was kind of me throwing a little hopium chart to you guys, right? I think it was the 500% move after a long drawdown. But again, I'm not going to harp on an anchor for Ethereum because I don't think ETH gets out of this anytime soon. It never has, right? After all of its massive drops, it's always taken time for us to kind of dig out of it. And I'm still going to stick with that going forward, right? Maybe at the end or start of Q4 or something, Ethereum gets a bid or some type of headline hits. I don't really know, or I don't really care what's going to happen with it. I've told you guys to focus on BTC, and we'll get into BTC dominance in just a second on why I want you to focus on that, or at least trading that other than Ethereum. There's some good outliers within altcoins that you can focus on, but I still think focusing on BTC is going to be the best, right? BTC dominance, guys, we've talked about this for a while. I have always thought that it's going to deviate out of range or deviate above a critical level, which was 70% was the way that I was looking at it, right? Maybe we don't hit 70% exactly. Maybe we just do like 68. Maybe it just, deviates outside of this high right here and we just run up to like 68 and then down. But this is ideally where I'm looking for a rejection on Bitcoin dominance. Again, I have failed finding the rejection multiple times on this fucking chart. Full transparency. This one was where I thought the rejection was really going to happen. I retested that at least 47%. Didn't happen. Things changed. So I think that continues. BTC dominance is showing me that I think we need to be focused on Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin chart is showing that we need to be focused on Bitcoin over Ethereum and other things, right? So that's what I'm looking for. This is, again, just one that I'm not fully hell-bent set on. I wanted a retest of median ML and we never got it, but look what's happening here on some low-term timeframes, right? We are breaking out of that upper limit. Very, very clear and important level of a breakout. Now, does this continue? I don't know. I don't buy breakouts. I am not a breakout buyer. Some people like to buy breakouts to where, they like to wait for confirmation, breakout happens, and then they jump in and then they can kind of ride it for X amount of percentage. That's not me. I'm not a breakout buyer. I am a retest buyer. There is a big difference. And so this would be essentially labeled as like a breakout buy, which I'm not really willing to do. I still would like hype to go lower. Even though I don't think it's going to go lower, I think hype has some of the biggest potential in 2025 into 2026. I do. I think there's a lot of cool things being built on hype. There was like that scare of liquidity and them getting liquidated and all that sort of stuff. But again, a lot of exchanges out there probably have the same problem from time to time. It doesn't come to fruition. And then also hype had a lot of hype at the time. It was new, right? So a lot of people were kind of attacking it. All of that is kind of bringing up for me to be like hype has a lot of potential this year. So I wish I was a little bit more frugal on like watching hype, because I think bidding in like that $13, $12 range would have been fucking amazing, but I didn't. And I do think that 17 for me, having no exposure, is a little bit of a chase here, but it is some positive price action. It is. I do love that it's holding above that $17 area is the key one. If it breaks back below 17, then I'll be interested again, because maybe we get that retest to 13. But as of right now, it looks pretty strong. And if the rest of the market stays strong, there's no reason why this can't continue. I hope that this gets out of these lows pretty soon. But these again are those bottomed outs, right? These again are those bottomed outs to where, unfortunately, I just don't see anything good happening, right? So this first support zone failed. Now it becomes resistance. So that's great. Now we are at resistance on SEI, because it was one support, now resistance. So I think, unfortunately, this is how SEI is going to turn out. It's going to be a long, drawn bullshit price action before anything exciting happens, right? To where it's like this, something long, rangy bullshit before we get any sort of breakout to the upside. So I am married to SEI. I fucking hate SEI. but it is what it is. You can escape these setups and these positions over time, patience, obviously, but not ideal. I think Sui is one of those ones that's going to completely outperform so much here in like the next big coming cycle, and I'll tell you guys why. It's just such a beautiful setup. Like there's not much else you can really see as far as like a potential continuation higher. Just such a clear stair stepper, you know, kind of in that area where we're looking. But yeah, I am holding Sui, and again, probably should have sold my Sui up when it was at fucking $5, but I have a massive, massive bid from right here, about that 38 cents. So I am still holding it. I think that we can retest highs on Sui when things get hot again. I really hope I fucking hit 7 figs on Sui. And I think that was kind of where my eyeballs kind of like lit up, is when we were at like $5.50. You know, I wanted to get a couple more dollars and it'll be a 7-figure trade, and you know, you post all that shit and you want to be excited, and not going to do that anymore. Still in Sui, all of it, haven't sold the thing, but I still think that we can get back up to all-time highs within, you know, this next cycle. However long it takes, right? Like I'm not saying that it goes like this, but maybe something like this, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for going forward on Sui. So still holding my Sui bags. Thank you all for joining. Please do your best to follow along in the Telegram each and every day. I will be going over to the Telegram and sending charts right after this. And thank you all for everything, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.